All right, welcome back, Mrs. Figures class. This video will give you instructions on how to cite a website. This is the second part of a three-part series for your citations page. If you skipped the video that instructed you on how to create your Noodle Tools project, make sure you go back and click on the first one. So now we're going to add another source, and we'll click New Source. Again, like with the first one, we get the first question, and the question is very important because we want to make sure, again, that we get it right so we get the right citation. So we take a look, and I've already said a few times that we'll be citing a website. So I think the clear thing to understand here is, and it is just that when you go to cite a website, um, websites can have different kinds of things posted on them. And in this case, we've got an article that's posted here. So we're going to say, okay, website. And the question sort of becomes as well, are we citing the web page itself, or is there something else that we're citing here? Is it something outside of the web page? And in this case, we are just citing the web page. So we're citing a web page from a website. Again, broken into blocks. So we see the website and then the web page, and then a little bit more information about the website and the annotation down beneath. One thing I'll say about citing websites is that it can be a little complicated because the information is not always easy to find. Websites don't have a specified format for how and where they store their information, although a lot of the better websites do put them in similar locations. And I'll show you where some of those pieces of information can be found. I would not recommend using anything that claims to cite websites automatically, where you just type in a URL and it gives you a citation. Those are often wrong. The problem is that they don't know where to pull the information from because they do change locations, and it ends up quirky, it's kind of out of whack, just looking wrong on your citation page. So it is better to take the time to fill these in. All right, so first question is about the URL, or first blank is about the URL. So we'll jump there and paste that in. Date of publication. We've got one clearly identified on this article. That is actually, I'd say, atypical. A lot of websites you'll find a year, no specific date, and sometimes you don't even find a year. So if you've got it, though, you use it. And we've got May 19th, 2017. And so we will fill that in. Sometimes the date is located at the bottom of the page rather than clearly identified at the top. Sometimes it is at the top near the title. Again, websites will vary a great deal from one to the next. So this page, who is it written by? Again, our author is clearly identified. And so we'll Michael Doncourt, and web page or title, web page or document/article title. So this is actually where a lot of people mess up, or one of the places that a lot of people will mess up, because if you take a look at this page, I am sure there are a few students who would grab Discovering Literature, Shakespeare and Renaissance as the title of that page. That is not the title of this page. That is a generalized heading for a bunch of different articles. And one way you can double check is to look at this tab. If you just lay your cursor on the tab, it often identifies for you right away what the title of that specific page is. And that's where it's a good place to verify and to look. This page is called Character Analysis, Romeo and Juliet. And so if we jump over, one other thing that you will see is that this title has lowercase letter for analyze, but actually MLA rules dictate that any major word in a title, and that means anything that's not an article of, or a preposition to, those are going to be lowercase. In this case, we have the word and. So a lot of these small words, short words, will end up being lowercase, but the major words need to be capitalized, and you have to make sure you correct that or get it into the MLA format. So the next thing we have here is the name of the website. We go back. So what website is this? Well, if you look here again, Discovering Literature, Shakespeare and Renaissance, again, not the name of the website. British Library. If you click on it, it's typically not a bad idea to go to the main page of a website when you're citing, because sometimes the information is actually stored on this page, including who owns the copyright, who's the publisher. You can see this is copyrighted by British Library, and the website is the British Library. This page may have years on it, may have sometimes editors' names on it if that's included. So this is a great page to jump back to when you are citing. And so we'll go the British Library. Publisher site is also the British Library. I could retype this. However, Noodle Tools does sometimes give you these little hints and things. And one of the things it will tell me, I think it will pop up if oh, here it goes. So leave this field blank if the publisher's name is the same as the site. And so if these two names are exactly the same, you leave this blank. It's a small rule. If you repeated it, it wouldn't really cost you a lot as far as points go, maybe not anything at all. But it does look better as a citation if you're not repeating the same information over and over again, kind of uselessly. So what we get here is the understanding is, okay, the publisher of the site isn't identified. That means that the publisher of the site is the British Library. There's certainly sites that have different names and different publishers. For example, CNN is not published by CNN. CNN is published by Time Warner. So you have these other companies that may own the copyright for a website, and you would want to identify the publisher in those cases. At this point, we can just hit save. Oh, and again, make sure that you do change the contributor's role. If you don't, you'll get a warning. I've identified now that Michael Donaker is the author, so we should be able to save. Again, you'll want to check your citation against mine. Make sure that it does look exactly the same, because when it comes to citations, there are uniform rules for everything. No extra spaces, no different capitalization. Nothing really should be different as far as citations go. So you see we have the author, Donaker, Michael, character analysis, Romeo and Juliet, on the British Library website, also published by the British Library on May 19th, 2017. Here's the URL, and we accessed it on December 10th of 2020. So again, we have now, at this point, we have 2 complete citations. We'll move on to citing a database, and that will be in part 3. So I will see you then.